1. I'm the night concierge at a 5-star UK hotel. Last week we had probably the most entitled, stuck-up narcissists I've ever met staying with us. The night started out when these two guys on a business trip were drinking in the bar. One of them asked the bar manager if he could play the piano in the bar. My manager responded, "I'm sorry, but we don't have any live music tonight, and we don't allow people to just come up and play the piano." The guest, who we nicknamed the 12-inch pianist, wasn't amused, and he got quite annoyed and started to berate the bar manager, demanding to see the written rule about this, whilst his friend Ken started to film. The bar manager went to inform the hotel's night manager what was happening, and the night manager came through to the bar and explained the rules. Ken and the 12-inch pianist called the rules stupid, and that they should let him play because apparently he gets paid thousands of pounds to play the piano, and he was doing it for free. Once the night manager left, the two of them talked loudly about how much of a philosopher the night manager was, and declared to the bar manager, "We have the money to buy this place, we're gonna do it and sack all of you for disrespect." 12-inch pianist then marched over to the piano and started playing and declared, "I should be fucking paid for this. I've played in some of the top venues around the world, and I did this as a gift." Later, the two guests walked through the reception to go back to the room, and they decided first they'd berate the night manager by telling him that they would have him fired, and that they've ruined their stay by not allowing them to enjoy themselves. I intervened, asking them to please not speak to my colleagues in such a manner. 12-inch pianist responded to me, "Go fuck yourself." In 10 years of hospitality, I have never shouted at a guest. I told him, "Don't you dare speak to me again, or you'll be leaving this hotel shortly." He then responded with, "Fuck you," as him and Ken left to go upstairs. Ken came back down 5 minutes later and gave us a half-assed apology, claiming his colleague was European, so supposedly that gave him the right to be rude. Me and night manager accepted his apology and told him that we will not be spoken to in the manner in which they did. Ken backtracked again, demanding to see the written rule about the bar piano, and the night manager informed him, "There's no written rule, it's a common thing called courtesy. We asked you not to play the piano, but still you did." Ken claimed again how he was going to have both our jobs, and then he left with the 12-inch pianist to find another bar. They returned around 2 a.m. and got their phones out to record themselves berating us again. 12-inch pianist claimed to me that, "You should show me more respect. Even if I called you a philosopher and took a shit in the lobby, you should still treat me with respect. You have no idea who I am and what I could do to you." I responded, "If you did any of those things, you'd be thrown out of the hotel. You realize there's families with children staying at the moment. I would also have the police called for indecent exposure." Eventually, both of them went to bed. In the morning, me and the night manager informed the hotel manager, who has since gotten in touch with their company, that they have been blacklisted from our hotel and any other properties associated with our brand. According to one of my day colleagues, they said everything about their stay was great on checkout. I wonder if they sobered up, thought about what total turds they had been, and realized that this was a business trip and therefore they'd get hell from their company. Either way, they are without a doubt the worst people I have ever dealt with. 2. Last March, I started a job at a new hotel. I've been working on hotels for a few years. This hotel has day reservations available for the purpose of travelers, seeing as we are right beside a major highway. One day I'm perusing my day room check-ins, making sure shit is done and all that, and I notice a familiar name, the name of my best friend's dad. I didn't honestly think it could be them, even if their last name is a never-heard-it-anywhere-else type of unique. I went on with my morning and got all my pre-arrivals ready. The day use rooms here don't show their credit cards because they're prepaid and the incidentals are covered. They only need their ID to collect their keys. Anyways. Sometime later, the automatic doors slide open, and I look up from my book to see my best friend's dad saunter into the hotel. He's wearing a mask, it's COVID, but I would recognize this man anywhere. I've literally known him my entire life. He walks up to me at the desk, I'm alone, and says his last name and hands me his ID. It's at this point I realize he has no idea who the fuck I am. I don't know how, but I'm so stunned I don't even question it. I hand him his keys and he goes up to the room. Now some backstory. This man works in town, maybe 10 minutes down the road from the hotel, and his house is a 20-minute drive away. It's far, but not far enough to warrant a day-use room at noon on a Wednesday. He actually works at the same company as my dad, So I know that he has a work credit card and he's in a high enough position that he could dip out of work for an hour and no one would bat an eye. He's a father of 3. Him and his wife have been together for 30 years. They are the picture-perfect family. That one family everyone knows that are just always happy and doing everything right? That's him. Except recently when one of his kids started struggling with depression and the other, my best friend, has been battling a new disorder that's nearly taken her life a couple times. But despite those issues, their family seemed happy and strong. Anyways, back to the story. So I'm sitting at the front desk just absolutely confused, digging through our hotel's reservation history to find out that he stayed with us 6 other times in the past couple months. I try to rationalize it like, maybe he's just tired and wants to take a nap. He's going through a lot, right? But that's stupid. I just couldn't fathom another reason why he would be here at a hotel in the middle of the day. I wouldn't entertain the idea of there being a possibility of infidelity. It's not long after that thought crosses my mind that the automatic doors open again and a young woman walks in. She's young, like college age, maybe 20, 21 years old. I don't have any more day use rooms and I know she isn't in-house, so I ask her if I can help her find anything. She goes, "I'm looking for room 206. I freeze. I'm going to be sick. That's the room I just gave to my best friend's dad. I silently point towards the elevator and wait for her to make her way over to it before immediately running to the laundry room. It's a small hotel. All the departments are close. The only other person I can tell currently folding fitted sheets. I tell him what's going on, and he's as stunned as I am, even if he doesn't know them. What the fuck, right? This is seriously messed up. He waits with me at the desk for when their time in the room is up, and he takes the burden of checking them out. I stand in the back with the CCTV cameras and wait until they're both out of the parking lot before my coworker and I run up to the room they were just in. I need evidence that I'm not literally going insane. Lo and behold, the bed sheets are a mess, and there are 2 condom wrappers in the garbage. At this point, all I can do is go about the rest of my day, and every once in a while ask my coworker what the fuck I'm supposed to do. We signed a privacy agreement when we started working at the hotel. I can't just out him because I'll lose my job. Throughout my time there, my best friend's dad came through another 5 times. The last time he came in, though, he paused to check in and got a really good look at me. I had resorted to trying to make my identity obvious by drawing attention to my name tag, having a coworker call the desk from the back so I can announce my name through the receiver. I figured this way, if he figured out who I was and what I knew, maybe he would out himself and I wouldn't have to fight with myself over whether I should do it. He seemed to have realized it was me that last time, and I never saw him at the hotel again. The thing is, I don't work there anymore. I just recently got a better job at another hotel in the area. What do? Do I keep it to myself and continue to feel fucking awkward and awful every time I see my best friend? Or do I tell them, consequences aside? This is some crazy moral dilemma, and I need advice, y'all. Help me out. I've seen some people say I'm a horrible person for being curious about his frequent visits. I never told my coworker about previous visits. I haven't told another soul. I'm here for some genuine, unbiased advice from people in the same industry. I haven't made any decisions. Thank you, the people who are offering their honest advice without attacking me as a person. I'm only human, after all. I don't think it's fair I have to shoulder this burden that shouldn't have been mine to begin with. I'm taking this seriously, and will take it to the grave if I feel it's the best for those involved. All that aside, thank you everyone for your advice. 3. First off, thanks to hotel workers for all that they do. I can't thank my lucky stars enough that this is an old tale, and I was reminded of it by a friend, and wanted to share. I'm in restaurants now, so more of a lateral move, but my hotel stories stick in my mind like glue. To set the scene, it is the year 2016, and we're in a modest, read absolute trash, 2-star hotel off a highway. The hotel rhymes with Watergate well. It starts with a W and ends in gate. Anyway, it has 84 rooms, a mix of local and business guests, and plenty of crazy for everyone. The hotel was built in the 70s. We're about to go through renovations in a month, and I am the lowly weekend night auditor. It's a normal Sunday night, Monday morning. Not super full, but not empty by any means, and it's around 3 a.m. I checked in the last reservation about an hour ago into room 111. After that, no more reservations. I'm about to start audit, and I'm excited that the next 4 hours will go by fast and that I can get off work without having any major pass-along notes. Oh, how wrong I was. Then I get the call. It's room 111. They're complaining about the carpet being wet. I figure it's a water leak. The weird thing is, if it's a water leak, it's gotta be coming through the wall, not a ceiling. As was to be expected at this property. I immediately offer them a move. They gratefully accept, and I am left to puzzle out where this water is coming from. Now, a curious thing about this property is that due to its age and lack of proper upkeep, a leak from a pipe the floor above is a very normal thing. Normal to the point where we've had 5 rooms permanently out of order due to water leakage. And again, we're renovating in a month, so it's not like there's an issue if I put another room out of order for the same problems that others are having. However, I want to do my due diligence and see if I can find the source of the leak. Checking in room 111, I can see that the carpet is waterlogged and squishy. Starting from the wall directly connected to the next room, and beads of water welling up near the base of the wall. Water is oozing into the carpet from the wall. Weird. And not par for the course as far as I could tell. Clearly there's a problem in the adjoining room, and so I leave 111 and head into 113 next door. As soon as I step into the room, it's pandemonium. There's an inch of water floating on top of the carpet, the tile, everywhere imaginable in the room. It's like a frog redesigned the place for his own utmost comfort. Shocked and now dealing with a situation entirely outside of my pay grade, I continue into the room. The water is coming from a giant crack in the ceiling right above the bathtub. Ironically, the location is not keeping the mess contained. Placing the biggest trash can in the room directly under the largest stream of gushing water, I speed out of the room and manually shut the water off in the hotel, knowing that regardless of the dire state the whole place is in, I will get a serious write-up if I don't miraculously fix this. However, it is now 4 AM and I'm going to have people bitching up a storm if they can't shower in 2 hours. So I do the unthinkable. I call my GM. In an astounding act of God, he actually picks up. And during the roughly 30-second phone call, consisting mostly of half-asleep grunts on his end and panicked exclamations on mine, he tells me to turn the water back on and deal with the fallout. I knew this was a doomed endeavor looking back. I wish that I had been a more wizened and pessimistic creature, but at the time, I was young and naive, and wanted to fix problems that I should not. So I grabbed the shop vac, the giant kitchen trash can, and went back to room 113. I replaced the tiny room can that was under the leak with the industrial-sized garbage can. Leave the shop vac just inside the door and go back to the water main to turn it on. The water main is outside, so I don't notice anything wrong at first. Honestly, I was probably gone for 5 minutes or so. I took a smoke break on the way because I was being paid $8 an hour and the smoke break saved my butt. However, by the time I got back to 113, I desperately wished that I had full sprinted back to the room. The bathroom ceiling is on the floor. And in the shower and in the sink and everywhere, in the short amount of time I have been gone, the renewed pressure from the pipes above the shower has had a cataclysmic effect on the durability of our infrastructure. Water is now pouring where it was streaming. There is no longer any divide between exposed piping and a serviceable hotel bathroom. And I'm about to have a panic attack. It is now 5:35, an hour and 25 minutes until it is not my problem. I breathe deeply and roll up the sleeves on my cheap Walmart button-up shirt, and I grab the shop vac. It took me until 6:51 to clean up the shattered pieces of the ceiling. I dumped the trash can filled with burst pipe water twice in the meantime into the storm drain outside. When I left that morning, the trash can was approximately 1/4 full, and the GM would be there at 9. Apparently, the main still had to be shut down for most of the day. I never got any flack about how I handled the situation, but I learned after the fact that the GM got his ass chewed out because we can't limit our already limited rooms when we're about to lose revenue over the renovation. Said hotel lasted about a year after renovations before shutting down permanently. Can't imagine why. I do miss certain aspects of the job and hope all of you have been working amidst and through this pandemic. I've at least gotten some unbelievable stories out of it. Much love to past, present, and future front desk workers. 4. I, 20 mil, work at a small-ish hotel. It's right by an interstate leading you out of the small city that I live in. This alone makes us one of the busiest hotels in the area, which means we get all of the crazies and entitled snobs from all over, much like this lady. There is a woman and her husband staying here who have been calling down non-stop to complain about absolutely everything. They have tried to get free stuff from us and have tried to get their room at a lower rate, which we can't do, because they booked a room on their hotel honor points. Fun fact, hotels can't do anything to your reservation if you booked it through a third party or through a point stay. The morning that I was supposed to come back from work, they came down to try to extend their stay for another day. They were told that they can't do that through the front desk and would have to book an additional reservation to stay in their room. That's all fine with them, and we figure that's it. 1 p.m. rolls around and housekeeping goes to clean the room they are in, and they are still in there and argue with the head housekeeper. I wasn't told what was said, but I'm assuming that Karen lied and said that she made another reservation, and it was an outrage that her room was barged into. Sometime after that, they leave for a while and go and do whatever the fuck people come to this town for. I really don't know, this place sucks ass. 10:15 rolls around, and they come back in to complain that their keys don't work, obviously. They were told that they would have to make another reservation again, and that we would let them into the room to grab their stuff and sort stuff out really quick. And 11 p.m. rolls around, and I come in, which is where the fun starts. Now, I've done customer service for a while now, and I've always gotten a ton of great reviews from everywhere I've worked. I'm good at talking to customers, but I'm very blunt and upfront with everyone, and never change how I act or talk. Normally, people love that about me because they know they aren't getting bullshit answers. Karens and Kens hate that because they can't get much over on me. I get into work a little late for my 11 p.m. shift. Normally I'm here at 10 p.m. It's 11:05 p.m. And I'm told about this room that has been a giant pain in the ass the whole time they were here. I'm then told about everything that happened above. Mind you, this is my first day back after a 2-day vacation. I realize that they literally just got into the room, and call them about 11:15 p.m. Normally I wouldn't, but I thought that there was no way they got in and went straight to sleep. I call, no answer. Then I get a call 2 minutes later asking about why I called them. I'm Tim from the front desk, and I call to ask about the second reservation that you were supposed to make to stay in the room.
Excuse me?
I'm Tim from the front desk. I call to ask about the second reservation that you were—
Did you seriously wake us up to ask about some reservation that we made? Are you saying that we weren't supposed to be in here? This is the worst hotel I've ever stayed at.
We go back and forth about them needing a reservation, and then she hangs up on me saying she will talk about it in the morning. I was told earlier that she mentioned something about being offered another room at $119 a night, which I was still ready to do at this point. So I start getting her info from the last reservation to rebook the room, despite the fact that she lied to second shift about rebooking the room and complaining to me about how shitty of a job I am doing. 4 or 5 minutes go by and the phone rings again. At this point, both of the second shifters are watching me to see what I'll do, so I pick up the phone. Thank you for calling the hotel front desk. My name's Tim. How may I help you?
Are you the one who woke us up over our reservation instead of waiting until the morning?
Yes.
So what's going on? What's the issue down there?
Currently, as it stands, there is no reservation in the computer for you guys.
We asked the lady at the front desk this morning to add a day onto our stay.
Since your stay was booked using points, we aren't able to extend your stay, and you will have to book another reservation.
This seriously couldn't wait until the morning?
What's he saying? Here, give me the phone.
Hello?
Hi.
What's your name?
Tim.
Tim what?
I don't see any reason to give you my last name.
Excuse me?
I gave you my first name, and that is all I am required to give you. If you would like to file a complaint about me, that is all you need.
No, you need to give me your last name. You woke me up for something that could be dealt with in the morning. I'm going to call the cops on you.
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead, call the cops. That is your right to do so.
Are you threatening me?
I am in no way, shape, or form threatening you.
Well, I'm calling the cops on you because you won't give me your name, and you're being mean to me, and this is the worst hotel I've ever stayed at. I just got here from the Sea Hotel, and it was way better.
That's fine. You do what you have to do.
You have to give me your last name and employee number so I can put in a complaint.
My name is more than enough to make a complaint.
No, because you told me that you were the front desk manager and
I never said I was a manager.
What's your position then?
I'm the night auditor.
The night auditor?
Yep. Click. She hung up, so I finished taking down all the info I need to book another room. This time at the actual rate that it's supposed to be, because fuck her, and I don't want to hear from her again. One of the other second shifters told me that he would watch the desk for a couple of minutes while I take a shit. So I went and came back to see him on the phone talking to Karen. After he got off the phone, he told me that a little later, surprise, surprise, she complained to me to the GM. The GM let her sit there and bitch and whine about me for an hour or so, and sent her on her way. It's a pretty boring end, but I'm just glad no one else really had to deal with her. My GM got the story from the link to this post that I sent her. Then got one that Karen had told her. Then got what happened from the girl on second shift that was watching the phone conversation. After all of that, she determined that I did a fine job, which I wasn't worried about, and confirmed that I had never raised my voice or acted unprofessionally. She did ask if I was fine after, because the second shift girl said that I was acting out of sorts, which is weird because she is brand new. But I chalked it up to me just waking up and general anxiety. Sorry I couldn't get more info. I'm sure she said some crazy shit to the GM. 5. This story happened to me 2 to 3 years ago, so some details are kind of blurry as of today. As I wondered what I was going to do with my life, I started working at a hotel because I liked customer service and also meeting all kinds of different people. I usually did the 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. shift from Tuesday to Saturday. But it is still a 4-star hotel and has decent prices, so we usually didn't have weird customers or anything related to drug users or organized crime. I'm really enjoying the job as clients are pretty much always happy when checking in. Then the pandemic hits. I'm sure I'm not making you guys learn something new, but we did lose more than 99% of all the future bookings we had, and with a lot of businesses being shut down, things weren't going back to normal anytime soon. I went from having around 20 check-ins a night to 1 or 2. At that point, we had to lower prices to try to be more competitive for locals. The clients then started being one of 2 things: long-term stayers or criminals, or at least related to illegal activities. The hotel administrative staff and managers were mostly a big Italian family. Due to the pandemic, more and more employees were let go. I remained employed because I was good at my job, and also I was paid way less than the other full-time front desk employee. She had a different position before and kept her salary. As time continued, more and more employees left, and we had no more security and no more night shift housekeepers. We had a reliable employee coming in for 2 night audits a week, but the remaining 5 were given to a newly arrived immigrant who we had to let go due to a couple of weeks due to difficulties in adapting and learning English. The Italian family asked me once before if I would be up to doing a night shift once a week to help things out. Initially, I declined, because I had absolutely no interest in destroying my sleep schedule, and also I heard from previous employees that when you start to give the manager something, they really go all out to exploit it. After working there for a couple of months, I learned that there were 2 types of employees: the family and the not family. However, after a while, I accepted to lend a hand because I'm a good guy, and I learned that these shifts were calm and uneventful. So during the day before my night shift, I'm not doing anything unusual, as I'm expecting a quiet and peaceful evening at work, reading mangas and browsing Reddit. Being a stoner, especially during these years, I had the brilliant idea to smoke a bit before clocking in at 11 p.m. I had never smoked before work in my life, and never did after. Don't do it! It was a Saturday. So I clock in, and during the evening I got quite busy, way more than my high self expected, to say the least. My shift starts, and a couple of the regulars go out of the rooms and come chat a little bit with me. All workers or long-term stayers. At the time, I was also the only employee present at the hotel, and my only resource was to call one of the higher-ups of the Italian family who had a room in the hotel but wasn't there that night. As the night gets close to 1 a.m., the phone starts ringing, asking if rooms are available for the night, and I start getting some walk-ins. I ended up doing around 6 or 7 check-ins, which is 3 or 4 times more what I would do in my regular shift at the time. It was also on a mild high and wasn't as efficient as usual, so I was focusing pretty hard on not making any mistakes during the process. I was naive at the time, but now looking back, I realize most of the people, probably all of them, were either drug users, gang members, or prostitution enthusiasts. At that point, I am really stressed as I am way more busy than I had anticipated, and I'm also feeling like I'm an idiot for smoking before the shift. Seriously, never do that! Around 3 or 4 in the morning, a couple walks down the elevator. I had seen them come in before as they joined one guest in his room. I did not know this guest and did not know for certain if the couple were clients. They asked me to check out and give me a room number with a key. The room has indeed one guest in it, and I don't know the name. There was only one key, but that was a continuous issue at this hotel, and I really didn't question it. As I look at them, I notice they both have dilated pupils as they are talking to me, which makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable. My eye is definitely starting to crash, but I'm now sleep-deprived, operating on caffeine, which makes me even more nervous, and my mind is still blurry. Reminder that at the moment I'm the only employee in the hotel, so I can't really go to inspect the room, and I for sure don't want to leave these two people alone at the front desk. My only resource is away doing God knows what on a Saturday night. At that moment, I should have started to ask questions of the couple. But I don't want these weird drugged people to get frustrated at my questions and react unexpectedly. I'm also not in my best mental capacity, and the problem-solving section in my brain is too busy panicking at me, being with two hard drug users. Before, I've let some people leave without room inspections due to being the only employee, albeit not in a night shift. So I give them back the cash deposit that was made for the room, and let them go. Hoping nothing would happen before the end of my shift. Brilliant idea, I know. 10 to 15 minutes later, around 4:15, the front desk's phone starts to ring. I look at the display, and you guessed it, it's the room that just checked out. At that moment, I wanted to crawl into the ground and reincarnate as a happy puppy. That did not happen. So I answer the call, not really knowing what to expect. The client is obviously angry, and the first thing he mentions was how could I let these people check out? I apologize, tell him not to worry about it and that my manager would fix things up with him in the morning. Despite being unsatisfied and angry, the client hung up, and I didn't hear from him until the end of my shift. The end of my shift is now near, and I'm stressed out over my mistake, and I'm basically praying that the guest doesn't come down. The sales manager then comes in around 6:15, and I tell him I screwed up big time. This manager was the only one not part of the family, and was by far the most professional person there. He explains to me that this is now an outside matter, and starts to explain what is happening and will happening. At that point, I'm clearly not high anymore, but I'm barely functioning, and stressing all night due to my mistake and smoking before my shift. So I listen without registering anything, and leave. Walking back home, I realize that I have been scammed and start to wonder how the room occupant knew instantly what I had done. I left hotel work a couple of weeks later. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, episode 83. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like, subscribe, and comment in the description by telling me what your favorite kind of soda is, also known as ginger, pop, and whatever word you might call it locally. In fact, that's a bit of fun too, why don't you include that? Mine varies, and if we're excluding energy drinks, which, why would we, but if we're excluding energy drinks, my favorite is technically Dr. Pepper, although it used to be Pepsi Max. I guess technically it still is Pepsi Max, but I just can't drink it anymore because of the aspartame. I seem to be sensitive to it. I can't really have it at all anymore, whereas I used to be able to chug it like no tomorrow. I do miss Pepsi Max. Anyway, one of my favorites right now is one called Le Mans, made by Volvic, and I'm also quite into unsweetened sodas, which I got into by buying a case just on a whim. I thought, okay, I've got a little spare cash. There's a deal on right now. It's cucumber, mint, and lime soda. I know, I probably raised an eyebrow when I first heard of it too, and I bought it because it was like £12 for the case. I thought, okay, 50 pence a can for 24 cans, that's not too bad. So I bought it, and I tried the first can. I was like, well, it's okay. I guess I'll drink the rest of it so it doesn't go to waste. Thing is, once you drink 24 cans of it, you actually get used to not having the sugar in it because there's no sugar, no sweeteners, and then you develop a taste for it. And it's actually quite nice in hot weather. So I've been trying other brands. I even eventually got around to trying LaCroix, which I get why some people don't like it, but I rather enjoy the one I had. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.